The batch invoicing method would be more desirable in situations where you have a large amount of client bill accounts and you want to automate the process of creating an invoice and automatically attaching the charges to those invoices. The date range determines the transactions and invoices that will be included within this query. For the purpose of invoicing, we're going to select to the end of February. So we're going to set it to February 28th. And we're going to leave our initial date, the first date of the date range, all the way back to 1900. The reason we're doing this is we're going to look for some stragglers that may have come in after the fact, which we'll explain in a minute. If we click on this button over here, Find Accounts Needing Invoices, what this will do is search for any billing accounts that have unattached charge lines. So we see a list here of all of the unattached charge lines that are related to each billing account. However, those charge lines must fall within this date range and this group. So the next step in the process would be to invoice these charge lines automatically by clicking on this button over here, Create Invoices, Attach Charges. What this will do is create an invoice for each one of these accounts and attach the charge lines which are unattached to the invoice for each account. The date of the invoice will be set to the date on the right up here in the date range, so the invoice in this case will be set to February 28th, 2011. We'll begin by clicking on the Create Invoice button. Now we'll note that we see 0 unattached charges over in the right column, and we see 1 invoice attached to each of the billing accounts. And if we go into a given billing account and we look at the Assigned section, we'll now see an unprocessed invoice which is holding all of our charges now attached to them. We can even go to that invoice and individually print that invoice if so desired. This would be a preview of what this invoice would look like. You can detach or attach as desired any items within this, or select and view or edit any of these items. We have now invoiced all of our clients for the month of February. And we've also picked up any potential stragglers from prior months which may have not been invoiced because we set this date back to 1900. Okay, to take a look at a few of the options in the client bill query. One, that this column, which reflects the invoices, will only reflect invoices within this date range that are within the selected parameter of either being open or closed, and within this group. Note that the end date here is 2/28/2011. If I move this date out one full month to the March 31st, you'll notice that we now add an additional charge line in 2 of the accounts and an additional amount for unattached items. This is due to the fact that these charge lines came in after February 28th. If you're invoicing by the month, it would be desirable not to show these items. Thus, by limiting ourselves to February 28th, balances and charge lines will not be reflected that have not yet been invoiced. The next step would be to print these invoices. The typical process would be to create PDFs of all of the invoices in this batch. So thus we've found our invoices. We can click here to find any accounts that have invoices greater than 1 in this section. What this will do is create a PDF file of all of these invoices, and it will create that file in the default statement path. It then opens the PDF file.